This is by far one of the most underrated countries when it comes to relocation and tax residency. You probably never thought of this country. You heard about it, you've seen it, but you never thought of it as a potential place to move to. And you probably heard about Dubai many times, and we're very close to the UAE here. So stick to the end of this video as I'm about to tell you about my experience relocating to the country of Qatar, structuring things here, the benefits, the time that it takes, how easy or hard it is to move here. And before I do that, if you don't know me, my name is Revan. I run a consulting company in the tax optimization space. We legally help entrepreneurs to pay 0% tax, to open companies, residencies, tax residencies, and bank accounts all over the world. And every time I discover a great opportunity, I really like to approach it in the following way. I like to go to the country, meet people, and directly go to the source and understand how everything works. And originally, I remember wanting to move to Dubai, like many people. I went there a few times. I really liked the city, and I liked the infrastructure and how the service quality and comfort of life was. Of course, it was not all perfect. There were also some negative points, but I was considering it. Up until my friend told me, Revan, before you take any decision, I may have better for you. And I was very surprised because I did not expect him to tell me about Qatar. So I decided to go and check it out. I went and did a stopover here with Qatar Airways, and I only stayed for a few hours, but I was very surprised by what I saw. It was just everything I liked about the UAE, but smaller, more efficient, and better. And don't get me wrong, I still really like the UAE. I still want to go back there often. I'm just comparing my perspective at the time going to the country of Qatar for the first time. And after this, I basically came back because I had to find an information related to tax residency part. So what I did is I just flew here to directly go to QFC offices, which is the Qatar Financial Center, to simply get my hands on this information and on the right contacts. And it only took me a day to actually find everything I needed, and I successfully got my hands on it, and I was just able to find it and start the process working with our first clients incorporating in Qatar. And after I did that and I saw how things were here, I understood that basically it was a really good option, very efficient, and I decided to make the move as well. And it's been a few months that I'm now a resident and tax resident of Qatar. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits. It basically has no income tax, no capital gains tax. It has corporate tax for businesses operating here, but it actually has no corporate tax for businesses that are passive holding companies and that operate outside of Qatar. What is a passive holding company? It's basically a company that is made to only receive money that is managed from other companies or producing income activities. So for example, if you have a business in Europe, in America, and Asia, and that business generates money and you bring it here, it's not going to be taxed for as long as you use this structure. It's the simplest way to become a resident and is the simplest way to pay no tax on the money that you make. Besides that, it can get you some other benefits such as declaring an income here and eventually getting in good terms with the banks. And Qatar is one of these countries that does not have too many requirements when it comes to how much time you need to spend in the country to be a tax resident. It's a big benefit because a lot of our clients, they basically want to travel, they want to be flexible, they don't want to feel tied up to a specific location, especially in a place where there's been some tensions politically and military recently, and they like the fact that they can just be here if they want, or they can be somewhere else. And that's the reason why it's been one of the best options for us recently that we've been working on. Now, how the process works. It's pretty simple actually. Once we have opened your company, your passive holding company, and you're officially the owner of this company, you can then start basically applying for your visa. Visas here are 2 years work visas, and they basically are granted when you can show that you work for or in a company. Once you get that visa, you can take your tickets, travel to Qatar, and basically enter the country directly with your work visa. That gives you a window of 30 days to basically do your medical test, fingerprints, and obtain your QID. If you don't know what a QID is, it's basically this card that every resident in the country has and that basically grants you access to everything from opening a bank account to getting your apartment lease, your driving license, your car, whatever it is. As a matter of fact, you can also skip the line at the airport because you get access to the e-gate, which is a really, really nice plus. This entire structure takes generally around 2 to 3 weeks to obtain from the day you open your company to the day you obtain your QID. It's a very smooth process and everything is basically done in just a few days when you're coming here. Majority of the process is done before you come to Qatar and is finalized in 2 to 3 days. Now, why are people choosing Qatar over the UAE? Of course, Dubai remains a really good option for people in specific situations. For example, if you're in the online space and you care about meeting people in that similar space. You're gonna find a lot less of that in Qatar and a lot more of it in the UAE. So in that sense, I would suggest to choose Dubai over Doha if you're basically looking solely for people in the online space, doing e-commerce, having online agencies, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, if you're looking for a more calm, less distractive, and better environment for locking in, I think Doha is 100% going to be a better option for you than Dubai. Because Dubai carries a lot of a motivational place, a lot of good things if you want to feel inspired, but the balance of that is that it also carries a lot of the distractions. Doha, on the other hand, is probably 60% of the motivation, inspiration of what Dubai is, because it still has a lot of wealth, it still has a lot of success in many things, but it's obviously less international entrepreneurs that come from all over the world like it can be in Dubai. But the positive is that you don't actually feel distracted. So you can just focus, it's very easy. You have less social life than if you were in the UAE. But if you balance it correctly with meeting people here or traveling, it can be one of the actual best places for you to grow. So if you're interested or considering moving to Qatar and you want to understand how the entire process works and if it's a good fit for you, I highly suggest you to basically go in the description where you can find my Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram, we can talk about this, or simply book a call in the link below to just pretty much have a conversation about this. I hope you like this video, follow for more, and I'll be super happy to answer your questions. See you guys.